How's it going? I'm David.
I'm Megan.
And this is Small and Simple Bus. We're only on Instagram right now, but come on in and check it out. Don't mind the mess. We're kind of in the middle of construction. We did spray foam and then did our subfloor and then moved out from Connecticut to Portland and then really started renovating it and making it as to what it is now. As you walk in, you see our driver's area, and right now it's just full of stuff because we're stationary, but we have air ride, which is really cool, and we have air brakes, and the engine that's on this bus is a DT466, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the engine in that area. As you walk back here, we'll let Megan explain kind of what's going on over here.
Yeah, so this is our makeshift couch right now, but it pulls out into a full-size bed, and then our table also folds down flat against the wall, so we are able to have tons of extra space, and for the couch to be able to pull out.
Yeah, so as Megan said, this is just makeshift, but this is just a tufted needle mattress that eventually will cut in half and then cut it in half again for, I believe it's either going to be 4.5 inches or 5 inches thick of cushion for the bottom and for the back. And then the cool part is we have a baby, he's a year old, and so we didn't want to lug around a big high chair or anything like that, so we got this when he was born, and it's just really cool. It clamps on, and it just, you can take it off and undo the table and fold down, and then you got a big open area. And then if you walk back here a little further, this is kind of our kitchen area. As you can see, it's makeshift because we're here at Skoolies and RTR, so right now we just got a pump sink, and it'll let water out, and then we do all our dishes, and then you got our range/stove. This is propane. This is a 24-inch stove. We wanted to make sure that we had the amenities that we had when we were back home, and that, you know, they were basically propane so that we can burn. We could have gone with the electric, but our solar, as of right now, isn't big enough to power the electric stove, and we just kind of like the way that propane heats up the food and cooks it. And then, so the sink will go here, we'll have some counter space, and then eventually we'll have a butcher block that matches the counters that will come up for additional space for when we're cooking to cut on and whatnot. And then we'll eventually have faces to it, and then, yeah, and then we have our fridge, which is the other part of the kitchen. That it's a regular 10 cubic inches or feet or whatever, and that gives us, I think, enough room for about a month's worth of food, depending on what we get and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And eventually we'll have a cabinet here to store some bread or whatnot. And then the one thing that we're missing in the kitchen right now is going to be the pantry, which we'll be able to have that you can pull out, and then you can get drawers and whatnot to store most of our food, and then kind of share some space for Grover in the bunk so that we can store some of his clothes. Yeah. And then Megan will explain this middle part right here.
Yeah, so these are the bunks. They're not finished at all, but so this is Grover's bunk right here. Very messy, but it's kind of makeshift right now. And then this will be a top bunk for extra sleeping space, but we're toying with the idea of doing like a little play area for him, for his toys and books and stuff. So that'll be fun. And then also, this is our bathroom area. There will be a wall that comes up right here, so you won't be able to see into the shower. Yeah, this is our shower. And then we'll have a sliding barn door right here. And to get into the shower, you'll have to walk up through the toilet area and walk in. Yeah.
It's kind of like a bathtub as well, so that's why we built it out to over here, right in front of the wheel well. Once we finish it, it'll be a way for either us to take a bath or Grover to take a bath as well.
A very shallow bath.
Yeah, and then right here, one thing she forgot, this is a Nature's Head toilet. We'll say it's pretty pricey, and we don't love it, but we don't hate it. It's kind of a love-hate relationship. If you want to try and build your own composting toilet thing, I would suggest try it out before you spend $1,000, because you could really save a ton of money by making your own. And if you don't like it, you kind of just start over and go from there, because This is just a really fancy toilet that's just, in my opinion, kind of overpriced. And then there's also another one out there that's called the Sea Head or something like that. And it's supposed to be, I think, half of the price of this one, which was, this one was $1,000. That's supposed to be $500, and it does the job the same that the Nature's Head does, but it's just a little cheaper. But again, if you can build it, there's a ton of YouTube videos out there that people have built their own composting toilet out of like just a Homer bucket from Home Depot. And then if you walk back here, eventually we'll have a wall over here that separates the back of the bus from the front, and then you'll have a step in that you can step into the bedroom here, and you get into the master bedroom is what you call it. Queen size mattress, and underneath there'll be 3 storage compartments with like drawers that you can pull in and out. Where this wall is going to be, there'll be a pocket door or some sort of door that you can close so that it really separates you from the front of the bus. Yeah, like I said, queen size bed. We have a purple mattress right now, and that seems to work pretty well. It's also very expensive, but we had it back at home, and we got a replacement one, which was awesome. And then this one's just been great. And then if you see this here, this is a frame out for. Right here is actually a washer-dryer combo that we've heard kind of mixed reviews on it. Other people on buses have them, but they say they leak. Hopefully we don't run into that. But then on the right side of that is the closet area, which you see one of my shirts. That's just to kind of gauge where we're going to put the bar that holds all our clothes. But then one thing that was important to us is we wanted some sort of ledge that we could charge our phones or put stuff on top, and so that's why we built this here. And additionally, it was because if I built this straight up, it would have interfered with the hatch, and we would have had to remove the hatch, and keeping the hatches was one of our key things to just have, and so we didn't want to get rid of that. And so actually this worked out perfect, because now it's a step and you can actually get up on the roof and go see the stars at night, and then, you know, take videos outside and see the mountains, which was pretty cool. Back there's a mess, but you could still walk through. It's got enough room to walk through and get what you need to get done. And then underneath our bed, we have 100 gallons of water that are it's our fresh water tank. And then underneath the bus, it's not installed yet, we'll have 50 gallons of gray water that we can basically use to dump our shower water and our dish water from the sink. That's what it is. And then here behind this ghetto curtain that we have as makeshift, you can see the operations or the brains of the solar. So this is a Midnight Solar charge controller, which is, I believe, 150 amps if I'm not mistaken. And then right next to it is basically the breakers for the solar, the 12 volt, and the inverter. And then this is our 12 volt bank right now, which the only thing we have wired up to it as of now is our fantastic, or not the fantastic fan, I'm sorry, the max air fan. But then eventually anything else that's 12 volts will eventually get plugged into here. This is our step down converter, and the reason we have this is because we run a 24 volt bank for our batteries, and so we needed it to go from 24 volts to 12 volts, and so we just bought this little doodad. And this is kind of a mess, but eventually it'll get cleaned up as well. And then our main breakers are all back here in this panel. And we can actually show you the battery and the inverter outside down below in the bus.
Okay.
Cool.
Move out there.
Yeah. So our solar system. So what we really wanted this bus, and the reason we wanted it is because it came with all these under storage compartments, so we didn't need to add anything. So what we got here are Trojan T105s, deep cycle golf cart batteries, and I believe each one of them is 225 amp hours.
You got what, 8? How many of them?
8 of them in total.
All right.
And so it makes for a 24 volt bank system. And then we got an Ames inverter. That's a 6,000 watt inverter. So it's kind of overkill for what we have, but we really wanted to take a chance and do it, and it's pretty great. If I could start over, I would suggest not to go with open wet batteries and go with either AGMs or lithium ions or Nissan Leaf batteries, because you can really maximize the life out of those. These are pretty much on their way out, as you can tell. They're being corroded, and so I think we haven't even had a year, and so we're gonna see if we can get replacement ones or whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then on the roof, we have 4 260, either 60 or 65 watt panels, so it's close to 1,000 watts of solar. I think we're around 900 watts of solar, and so again, that's one thing we want to upgrade in the future, either to the maximum. I heard there's 395 watts out there right now. Even if we get into the 310s, we'd be happy, but the 260s they're okay, but we just wish we had more solar to power it. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the tour of this week's rig, and join us again next Saturday for another episode.